You can't go wrong with Now It's Dark.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. I just watched, let's see, this will post on Friday. I watched this on July 4th, actually, Thursday, July 4th. I went to the theater, saw an early matinee of A Quiet Place, day one. PG-13, 1 hour, 39 minutes, 2024. This is like the prequel in the trilogy of A Quiet Place. And probably the movie that I like the most. I am going to have to refer to my notes, so please disregard my unprofessionalism. But I took notes. Man, watching movies in the theaters, it's so hard because I have to try to remember um, and jot things down. And there was a time in this movie where it did drag a little bit for me, so I took the chance and I ran to the bathroom and then ran back. And thankfully, the theater wasn't very full because I was, it was early on a Thursday and everybody was probably getting prepped to do their fantastic July 4th stuff. And I was not. So there we go. So this is about a woman named Sam. She finds herself trapped in New York City during the early stages of an invasion by alien creatures with ultra sensitive hearing. Written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, and also writing credits go to John Krasinski and Brian Woods. Sam is played by Lupita Nyong'o, and I know I'm sure I said that wrong, but she's been in a lot of notable stuff. Most recently for like Black Panther movie. Um, she was also in Us. Those are the two things that I recognize her most from. And then the second main character ish was Eric, played by Joseph Quinn, and he, of course, is most notable for Stranger Things, and then soon to be for playing Johnny Storm in the upcoming Marvel Fantastic Four. So he'll be the Human Torch. So I don't know if there's a credit for the cat, but Sam has a emotional support cat, and that's like a real thing. So this opens in a very interesting way. And the one thing about the movie that it does, which I appreciated, because I've mentioned before in other videos, I'm hard of hearing. So this is one of those movies where I wasn't sure if it was just going to be so much silence that it would be difficult for me to hear like small things. But what they did, in my opinion, it sounded like to me, is they amped up the volume to kind of like amplify the sound that the creatures can hear. So we open up the movie with this, overhead shot of New York City over the island, and everything's super loud. You can hear the cars, you can hear the traffic, you can hear all the stuff. And you see some Air Force jets kind of fly by in the background. And it's not really front and center, but then it dawns on you in a little bit, why that is. And then we meet Sam. She's in like a support group. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to reveal a lot about her character, because it's very um, interesting that this character is the lead in this kind of a movie. It takes a whole different um, tone to it in a couple of points. But she's in a group and they're doing the therapy or whatever. The group then goes on like this little field trip, and she's got her support cat. They go to a marionette show in the city. She gets kind of mad that she's been tricked, sort of, because they didn't really tell her that's what they were going to. They made it sound like they were going to be doing something else more fun, maybe. So she kind of leaves the group. She's on her mission to go to a particular place to find a particular item. I'm gonna try not to, the best I can, reveal what that is, because it's kind of funny and it's also not. Um, but then stuff starts just like really happening. We see a whole bunch of army vehicles go by really fast during one point. Things start to escalate very quickly, and then Sam kind of bumps back into the nurse that was in charge of the group, and he's on the phone and he's being told that they have to all come back to the place, ASAP. Like, stuff's going down. They're telling everybody to get back to the place. So they have a bus that they took there. She gets on the bus. There's a whole bunch of people getting on the bus from the group, and she's got headphones in, and she can't hear what's going on really. She's kind of got her eyes closed, and then something makes her like take the earbud out, and she turns around at the back of the bus, and there's all of the other group people. They're all just staring out the back of the bus, and then things just go crazy like very quickly. They all escalate. We see the meteors, or what, I don't know. I'm waving my hand here, but you can't see it. All the meteors are flying through the sky, and it's they're landing and crashing and explosions, and then everything goes apocalyptic like super quick. And um, she gets off the bus. There's dust everywhere, clouds, and so much noise going on, but you can't really see it. And then you get some kind of shadowy figures of the creatures, and people being abducted after they've just screamed like, "Ah, we're all gonna die," and then that person gets snatched up. So it's pretty good. I know it sounds like I revealed a lot, but that's literally only the first couple of minutes of the movie. Like, it goes pretty quick because it goes right from there to the title sequence. Like, that was literally just the opening. Um, and then when we come back from the opening titles, it's just like full on survivor mode for the rest of the movie. So I felt very Cloverfield ish from the very first Cloverfield, um, in a way. And if you see this movie, maybe you'll understand the comparison that I'm making with that. I think it's a fair comparison. I'm not talking about film quality or acting or anything. I'm talking about like just the environment that they're in. They're in New York City, and there is all sorts of disaster happening. It's fires and cars flipped over and dead people around and things like that. We do get a couple of good looks throughout the movie of the creatures. We get some very up close in your face stuff going on where you can tell that that's how they hear when they open their big mouths very wide. There's like a pack mentality between the creatures too. We get the established stuff, which has already been established in the other movies, so I'm not spoiling it. But the water thing, where they can't swim in the water. The military is trying to do what the military does. They're trying to um, contain the threat. So they do some things that kind of shut off the island, but they have their plan for evacuation. And so we have like a couple of really cool scenes. And, we realize that Sam isn't necessarily taking the path to the evac site. She has another mission in mind. She's got a destination, and it's not to where the safety zone is. And that's kind of also when we meet Eric, who kind of latches onto her. Um, and it seems at first like it's because he doesn't know what to do and he's just lost, so he's just kind of latching onto her because she seems to know. But that's what I've read and seen other people say. I took it a different way. I think he saw that there was a tragicness to Sam. There's more story going on with Sam. There's some things um, that's kind of like a weird place to be in. Like, if you've not been in that place, then it's hard to understand. But sometimes you are living, but you're at peace with when it's your time, you're ready to go. So you're not in a rush to go run to safety necessarily. But there are goals or places in our lives that are meaningful or have comfort that we are willing to risk our lives to go to, or to be with a person or something. And that's kind of like what her frame of mind is in my opinion. And I think Eric could see that and either wanted to just go along with it or make sure she got to it, or he also didn't really care about getting to the safety zone because he either didn't believe in it or feel that it was as urgent to get there as it was. Um, but we eventually get to, I'm skipping a whole chunk of movie. We eventually get to where Sam wanted to go. And it was a little heartbreaking because it wasn't as it was when she remembered it. You know, the destruction of the city had taken its toll on this place that she wanted to go to. Eric was able to kind of pull out a big W and kind of circumvent. They end up in like a bar, and he's able to kind of create a pseudo fix for it, but it's not really. And then we get to, you know, more stuff going on, and then off in the distance you can see the boat leaving the safe zone, and it becomes clear Eric wants to be on that boat. So they go to kind of figure out how to get to that place, and then he you know, they make some choices, and there's a lot of creatures, and I'm not going to say anything about it, if he makes it or not. But we do end on a very, very somber note with Sam, and I wasn't necessarily expecting it. Very touching moment and kind of emotional ending. So, and then it just kind of ends, and yeah. So I completely related with her on one level, and it's a fun movie. I think this might be my favorite of them. I'm not a huge Quiet Place franchise guy. I've seen them all. I do like John Krasinski, um, but those movies were just kind of meh, in my opinion. And this one is very familiar feeling, and because I'm making the comparison to Cloverfield, uh, it's that same kind of vibe going on. But uh, Lupita, I don't want to say her name wrong. Let's just say Lupita. Her acting was top notch as Sam. She did a lot with her facial expressions and with her, um, you know, freaked out. I think I wrote down that she, her emotional facial expressions were great. Yeah, her reactions to things. There's a lot of off camera action that also happens in this movie. There's plenty of on camera action, but there's also some off camera stuff where you can, where they're hiding, you can hear something outside or around the corner, and then you can hear the creatures attacking. So, anyways, I recommend seeing this. I assume this will be on Paramount Plus at some point if you don't want to make it to the theater. But it's a good movie. It's got a 6.8 star rating already on IMDb. But yeah, this review went way longer than I wanted. So keep checking back to the channel for more great stuff. Have a great day.
Row 18, plot 20.